When you think of a superhero, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Super strength, the ability to fly, maybe a cool costume, or maybe even a secret identity. But one thing you probably don't associate with superheroes is being a parent. Sure, they can be both a superhero and a parent like Superman and Lois Lane, or Batman and Bruce Wayne. But we're talking about a parent who also has superpowers, like actual superpowers. Hi, I'm here to talk about parenting. Today's question is, can you relate to any of these parenting moments? And a special shout out to a fan for asking this question. Now, just a reminder, I'm not a licensed therapist. This is not medical advice, and all stories shared are anonymous and fictionalized. Okay, let's get started. The first story is from a user. My mom was my superhero growing up. She had super strength because she would pick me and my brother up without even stopping to think about it. She could smell when I was hiding in the house and could find me every single time. She also had super hearing because she could hear everything I was doing from another room. For example, she could hear me drop a glass and immediately know which glass it was and how many ounces it held based on the sound. Even when I tried to sneak in extra candy after dinner, she would say, "Don't lie to me, I already know." And then she would smile and wink at me. I knew she was on my side and wanted to protect me. So when she gave me extra candy, I felt like I could do anything. The next story is from another user. My mother had super strength. One day we were at the beach, and I was only about 4 years old at the time. And I started screaming because I wanted to go into the water. But my mom said no because the water was too rough that day. Well, I didn't listen, and I ran into the water and immediately got swept away by a wave and started getting pulled out to sea. I remember thinking that my mom was one coming to save me and that I was going to die. But then suddenly I saw my mom running towards me. The next thing I remember is her grabbing onto me and pulling me back to shore. After she saved my life, I never questioned her strength again. The next story is from another user. My mom always told us that she had superpowers, and she showed us how she could use them sometimes. For example, she could teleport almost instantly from one room to another. She could read our minds, so she knew when something was wrong. And she had super strength, which she demonstrated by lifting heavy boxes or other objects around the house. But we never took these stories seriously until one day when we were home for Christmas, our house was struck by lightning and the power went out. We were sitting in the living room trying to light some candles for light when suddenly a big branch from outside fell on the roof and made a hole. My sister and I were freaking out because we couldn't see anything, and my dad was trying to get us to stay calm while he checked it out. Suddenly, my mom stood up and said, "Get under the coffee table." We didn't really understand why, but we did anyway. Seconds later, the whole ceiling started to fall down, and we were very thankful that my mom had made us move. After everything was over and my dad told us that my mom had saved our lives because the branch had hit the exact spot where our heads were previously, we finally believed that moms really do have superpowers. And the last story is from another user. I used to think my mom had superpowers, especially since she always told us stories about how she grew up with magical powers. According to her, she could run faster than the wind, jump higher than a tree, and was even stronger than a bear. She also told us that her people had magical abilities, and when she was stressed, she could feel all of their energy surrounding her, giving her the strength and speed to accomplish incredible things. Growing up, I witnessed things that made me believe she had superpowers, like when she lifted a heavy table by herself, or when she cleaned the entire house in record time. It wasn't until I became an adult that I realized she was just a normal person who was good at multitasking and physical labor. However, I still have fond memories of my superhero mom and the incredible adventures we had together. Alright, now it's time for you to share your story. How was your mom a superhero in your life? Leave your story in the comments below and remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you enjoy these videos, check out the podcast where unfiltered stories are shared about the joys and struggles of parenting. Thanks for watching. See you next time.